Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. Good stuff coming up this week. Before we get to the week schedule and before we get to everything, let's cover a couple quick things. Number one, all right, I talked about something on the Daily Wrap the other night. I felt like I wanted to be transparent with all of you, but not all of you watch the Daily Wrap, so I'm very briefly going to cover it right now. It's not going to be something that I'm going to be talking about every day or harping on, all right? Last week, there was a distinct dip in support when it came to tips. In reality, when it came to like memberships and super chats and everything, things were great last week, and I was very happy about that. But tips, for some odd reason, really declined last week on my live streams. Now, for those who don't know, and I couldn't imagine how you don't, I'm not someone who has paid product placements. I'm not someone who has these partnerships. I don't get paid to play particular games. I don't take those kind of opportunities. I just make content for you. You like it. You support it through crowdfunding. That's how I make my living. And definitely there's ups and downs to that, okay? But now we're in the fall gaming season. The biggest games of the year are starting to come out. And this is the time of year when typically I got to spend a lot more money on a lot of games and things that are coming out. My expenses shoot up. But also, kind of in tandem with that, I also usually see an increase in support. I would say the support did come, but it came in methods where I won't see any help from that in like a month and a half, okay? Just for those who don't know, super chats, you know, memberships and things like that help a ton. They're long-term support for this channel that absolutely is needed, and I'm very, very grateful for it. Thank you. I mean, I got a lot of gifted memberships. We're over 560 now, which is excellent. You know, at one point we were struggling just to keep it above 500, so thank you for that. But tips are really important because tips are essentially my liquidity. When you tip me on a stream, that's something I get right away. That's something I can use to pay a bill, to go grocery shopping, to have a nice dinner with my wife, which we did yesterday for her birthday, to buy the new games coming out, okay? So what happened was last week I saw a distinct dip in tips, and I don't know why that was. There didn't seem to be particularly any reason. You know, the launch day of Starfield, things were great, and then after that, it was like every single stream, we weren't even hitting a tier 1 tips goal of $50 like ever. So because of that, I was looking at the end of the week, I was like, oh my god, like I didn't expect it to be this tight, but it was, okay? And it's okay, it's not the end of the world. All I'm trying to do is spread awareness. If you were thinking of supporting my streams this week, a great way of supporting my streams this week would be tipping me, okay? That would help a lot. You know, long-term support's been great, and I obviously am grateful for that. And anyone, please, if you're going to super chat or do a membership or gifted membership, please, by all means, I'm not looking to give towards an amount. I'm just saying I definitely saw a distinct dip. It wasn't one stream or two streams. It was like all the streams last week except for the one premiere stream of Starfield had a distinct dip in support of tips. And I was like, that's concerning when you see a pattern. Not when it's just a one-off thing or a couple things, but a pattern. You know, I'm not in a situation like these other big content creators where I can be in like a rut for weeks and weeks. It'll start to hurt, okay? Thankfully, it's not like it was years ago. Years ago, there were situations where I was so financially distraught, I had to have crazy marathons to try to pay bills and stuff. It's not like that anymore. I want you guys to understand that, and I've tried to make that very clear to you this year. Things are much better this year than they have been in a while, thanks to you. Okay, this is not, you know, me being, oh my god, completely financially distraught. But obviously when you see an alarming pattern like what happened last week, I want to call it out and let's let everyone know, awareness, here's what's going on. I'm not asking for anything above and beyond what you normally would do to support. I'm just saying if you have an option, you want to choose, gee, how should I support? Tips would help a lot right now. Tips would be stupendous for me to afford all the stuff. Particularly, I've got to get Mortal Kombat 1 Collector's Edition in the next week, and that's $100. Okay, actually, isn't it $100 plus tax, right? So actually, it's like $120, all right? Plus other, you know, other things that will be coming up very shortly that are going to cost money. So thank you in advance to anyone who does it and helps out. I really, really appreciate that. And thanks to those who don't take it the wrong way. Because whenever I try to be matter-of-fact transparent with my audience about things like this, there's morons who say, you see, he's e-begging and he's doing all these horrible things. Did you hear me once e-beg right now? I'm just explaining the situation and saying, if you could help in that way, please do. I'm not telling anyone, hey, open your bank accounts, rip open your wallets and purses and dump them on a table in front of me. That's not what I said. I'm spreading awareness of, yeah, it would help to have a little bit more in the tips department right now because of the way that this business runs, and I'm a small-time guy. I'm not some giant guy with huge ad revenue and huge views or whatever. I am reliant on my audience, all right? So thank you to those who understand, and don't try to spin it into some kind of bullshit the sky is falling story that it's not, because that's not what I'm intending, all right? So now that that's out of the way, now I can move on to positive things. I just wanted to get it out of the way, and now we can focus on all the good stuff. Okay? Good. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to get that off my chest and out of the way, so now we can move on to better things. Okay? Cool.
I got the drip going. 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 I got the drip going.
It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean, these dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.